Our next My Digital Studio tutorial will include the next couple of pages of the Sweet Details Photobook template. And if you haven't seen the first two lessons in my Digital Studio tutorials, you'll want to go back and look those videos up for the first few pages of our book. On this page, which is page number 5, I'm going to show you how to make a photo collage so that the photo boxes all line up. And for this, it doesn't really matter so much what your pictures are to begin with necessarily. If you have pictures that you'll be able to crop, you'll be able to fit these together. So what I want to do is I want to make a second column here and reverse these two photo boxes. So I'm going to select both of these two, and I'm going to go under the Edit menu and hit Copy. And then what I'm going to do is actually hit Paste in Place instead of Paste. So what it's going to do, it's going to look like nothing to you, but what it's done is it's made a second round of these two photo boxes right on top of the first ones. And so now what I can do is I can click this, and when I want to keep this, when I want to move this over, you see how it's kind of going up and down a little bit. What I actually want to do is have it move straight in a line. So on my Mac, what I'm going to do is hit Shift. I think on a PC it's Control. And so I'm moving my box, but I'm holding the Shift key down the whole time so that when I slide it over, it stays exactly on the same plane as we move across. So I'm going to take that. Now that I've moved it over, I know that it's in line, but I'm going to go ahead and move it up. So I clicked and then hit Shift, and I'm going to slide that up. Now I'm not going to worry about whether this is really quite in line here or not. I'm going to do the same trick here. I'm going to move this over, okay, and then I'm going to slide it down. Oop, wrong one. Okay, so now you notice I can't actually grab the smaller box. I slid it behind this larger box. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to go ahead and slide it backward. Now in My Digital Studio there are layers, kind of like this little icon here. Each item on your page is a stack in an object layer. So right now the big box is on top of the small box. And let me go ahead and show you how to move that. So I have my big box selected, and I'm going to say just send that backward one layer. And you see how this small box popped up on top of it? So now I can reach this box and I can do a little shift drag or drag shift to slide that down. Now these really aren't quite in line where I want them to be, and I'm going to have to move this one down a little further. So what I'm going to do, you know what, I'll make them really out of line so that you can kind of see how this is going to go. Okay, so right now I want to line up the top two lines of these two boxes. So I'm going to click this box and hold Command or Shift and hit this box, and I'm going to say please align these to the top, and it's going to move that over. Now if I like where this one is left to right, I can select this box and select this box and say please align those to the right edge of both of those boxes, and it'll go ahead and put that together for me. Alright, so now we have our boxes all lined up, and the last thing here we need to do is work on our background box. So if I select this mat, I can see the drag handle here. Now, say this box was a little bit further over and I couldn't reach that drag handle, then what I'd need to do in this case would be say, you know what, go ahead and bring this one all the way to the front. Okay, so now it's on top of all those layers, and I can slide this over till it looks about right. Okay, and then I'm going to have to start moving it backwards. So I'm going to say send, if I say send to back, it's going to put it all the way behind everything, and I want it to be in front of this little plaid paper. So I'm going to start bringing it forward one layer at a time. There's one layer, there's another layer, and all these different layers on the page, oh, did you see how it popped in front of my circle? May or may not actually overlap this box, but if you bring it forward one layer at a time, like the button is a layer, and the stitching is a layer, and this green piece of cardstock is a layer. So my paper may or may not be affected by those layers, but they count as layers when I'm bringing forward and bringing backward. So let me just review. Bring to front brings all the way in front of all the layers. Send to back says put it under every single stack on the page. Bring forward means bring forward by one layer, and send backward means move by one layer backward. So that gives you a way to work with the things on your page. So now we have a photo collage that's going to include a few more pages, a few more photos, and I can go here to my iPhoto library and start putting in some pictures. I'll put this one in over here, okay? And watch which box gets highlighted when you put your pictures in so you'll know which one's actually going to fit. We'll put this one over here. That was going to visit the American Girl place in Chicago. Too much fun, right? And then we'll get, let's see, one more. We need another photo of, oops, another photo of Tucker here. Let's see. Here's a good one. Oh, where'd it go? There we go. We'll stick this one down here. Okay. Now you notice this one obviously is not cropped right, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this one over here. Okay, and this one here, this one is a nice close-up photo, and then this one here, I'll double click here to bring this open. I'm just going to move it up just a tiny bit. Okay. Now this is a lot of photos on a page with a lot of different colors going on, and I think what I want to do is go ahead and make them a little bit less disparate. So I'm going to go ahead and take this photo and I'm going to click on Photo Effect, and I'm going to say let's make that sepia. I could do black and white, but I think maybe sepia is going to make me happiest with this page. And then I'm going to go ahead on this one and say zoom in a couple times, because really what we want is the close-up there. And then I'm going to reframe it a little bit because we have our sort of rule of thirds going on. So I want this line to be 1/3 in the picture, and maybe this one. I want this line to be about 1/3 in the picture. Alright. Oh, that was a little bit too much, I think. Let's go back. It's a little bit unbalanced by this element, so we'll change the photo effect here. And you can see as you go through and change these all to sepia tones, then the variety of colors on the page don't compete quite as much, and it gives you a much more cohesive page where the elements, the contrast between black and white is the nicest. Now when you are doing sepia tones, you're going to notice, or black and white, that the photos work best if they're close up and there's not a lot of busy texture going on. This photo is okay, but it would be better if, like this one, where the faces, or even this one, where the faces are the lightest part and then the dark is kind of the background. So when you're picking your photos to do for black and white or sepia tone, make sure you think about that. So I hope you have found some tips that you can use in your own projects from this little tutorial, and I look forward to sharing more Modular Studio tips with you soon.